Well, hello. My name's Penny, and it's lovely. I'd like to welcome you here. Now, see, I wanted to do something a bit different, like to welcome you. But really, I say, hello, my name's Penny. I live in the southeast of England with my husband Pete and my 4 chickens, and you're most welcome. It sort of trips off the tongue, doesn't it? And I mean it, you are most welcome. I'm getting new viewers every episode, so thank you for joining. Just to tell you what I'm about, it's a chin wag. It's a little chat about all different things. At the minute, I'm hooked on Louise Crowther's Knitted Animal Friends. That's where I am. I'm knitting George. I have knitted Tilly and I have knitted Holly, and they're sitting here with me. Tilly's changed a little bit. I'll show you why in a minute. But just to introduce you to the episode, it's going to be a little bit from the hamper. I've got a hamper with all my memorabilia in. You know, I'm sure you've got something similar. And I like to share something with you. Sometimes it's a film from Mum, but although I've been round there obviously a lot, we haven't done any filming. I think the reason is because we're moving. She started when she was very small. And now we've got to a point where we're moving house again, and we've got to gear up. It's like we're packing up, ready to move. So that'll be done soon. Sometimes Pete tells you a little bit about his life, but he's listening to a poem this week. My friend's written a poem for Chinwag, which is lovely. Always a bit of fun when Heather writes a poem. And then we've got a fascinating fact about a sea cucumber and a little film at the end showing you my little blackbird. I say my because whenever I go down and sit with the chickens, the little blackbird comes and sits with me and sings. But it's a little bit different. It's not of him singing. It's of him, I think he's having a little clean and a sunbathe. So that's the film at the end. So let me start with Tilly. Well, I'm knitting George the dog. Here he is. And rather gorgeous he is too. Pete asked me to knit him. So we're getting Pete's, you know, I loved one viewer that she said maybe George will have some adventures that Pete can join him on or relate to. I told Pete that and he looked at me, but I think he might. He's coming round. So let me show you, though, Tilly's very naughty. And Tilly was the first one I made, the hair. And then I made the Holly the Hedgehog's clothes. And of course, Tilly wanted to try them on. Well, now the hedgehog's here, Holly's here. But I've got George's clothes and she was desperate. I mean, here's Tilly's clothes. Her little dress and her little bag that's cabled with an I-cord strap, and her, as you know, her little carrot cardigan for her allotment. And I've knitted her shoes. She's still got her shoes on, but she's got George's clothes on. She's the one for clothes. Come on, come and show them. Oh, Holly's looking a bit downcast. Maybe she'd like to try them on too. There we are. We'll stick to this one, Tilly. So she's fashioning for us a pair of light blue jeans. They did suggest dark blue jeans, but Wool Warehouse didn't have the wool, the colour of the dark denim, so I got the light denim. He's going to be a summery guy. Little stripy jumper, a little scarf. Well, we're all ones for these. We like our little scarves. Her tail comes through nicely. Of course, George's tail is going to be a little dog's tail. She's still got her shoes on. They don't go. So I've got George himself here. Have you ever heard of the Dave Clark Five? They lived in Edmonton, I think, which is, you know, near where I lived, North London, let's put it like that. and they sang a song called I'm in Pieces, Bits and Pieces. It was very, once you've heard it, you can't get it out of your head. Anyway, this is George. He's in pieces, bits and pieces. So he's got 2 ears. You knit them flat and then fold them over, and then you're going to attach them to the head, and they're going to come down like that. So 2 ears, two hands, the same hands as Tilly and Holly, same body part. Obviously the ears are different. I mean, he'd look funny with hare's ears, wouldn't he? And 2 legs, and the difference here is he's got little black soles to his feet. So he's not going to need shoes unless he sees the girls and asks for some, but I think we're going to have him just pottering about on the soles of his feet. And a little tail. The little tail's going to look so cute coming through those trousers. So that's got to be sewn up and stuffed. Hope the light's all right. It's very bright with the sunshine. And then this is his little face. You start there and you shape it round with that stitch that comes down. He's got a patch. And then you have to stuff it, put the eyes on, make a little black nose, and then attach the ears. So as soon as he's not in bits and pieces, I'll show you. I've started the body. You start there. It's quite firm. You do it on 275s, which makes it lovely. You can really stuff it well. And he's going to have a black patch on him. You won't see him because he's got his clothes on, but once you take the clothes off, obviously, you're going to see the patch. So that's George. As soon as he's done, I'll show you. So shall we do the fascinating fact? It's of a sea cucumber. I've only ever seen one, and that was down in Dungeness. It's a rather strange place, Dungeness, and we can get a little train there. When I say little train, I'll put a photo up of my grandson in the little train, and it's quite fun. It goes all the way to Dungeness. You get off, and it's all the cobbles, not the cobbles, you know, the stones on the beach, more or less. You get off in the middle of nowhere. And we sat and had a picnic with the grandchildren and looked down. I mean, this is many years ago. Yeah, you know I can never remember their ages, but I mean, Jimmy must be 28 and he was probably, I don't know, 6. So you can see how long ago it was. But that was when I saw my one and only sea cucumber. Yeah, I'll put some photos up if I can find them of us on the train, and I think I might have taken a photo of the sea cucumber. I might be able to lay my hands on, I might not, we'll see. But the fascinating fact's all about, well, I'll let it speak for itself. I'll see you the other side. Sea cucumbers are animals that live on seabeds and coral reefs. The texture of their body can be lumpy, bumpy, or even spiky. They're amazingly flexible, becoming as pliable as wax or as stiff as a board within minutes or even seconds. Such flexibility allows sea cucumbers to wriggle their way into tiny crevices and then stiffen so that predators can't pull them out. The secret of the sea cucumber lies in its remarkable skin. The skin has 3 states, stiff, medium and soft, and to change between the states, they link or unlink fibres in their skin. They do so by activating different stiffening or softening proteins. Stiffening proteins form tiny bridges or chains between fibres in the connective tissue, making the skin more rigid. Softening proteins unchain the fibres, making the skin softer. Sea cucumber skin can become so soft that it seems to melt. Scientists are developing materials that mimic the adaptability of the sea cucumber skin. One of their aims is to create electrodes for brain surgery that are stiff enough to be placed in precisely the right spot, but will also soften. Such adaptability in electrodes would reduce the likelihood that the body would reject them. So that's the fascinating fact about the sea cucumber's skin. Now, what's coming up next is the Poetry Pixie. Yes, she came to visit Heather, thank goodness, because we needed a poem. We haven't had one for ages, and Pete was my audience. So I'll see you the other side of that. So this is about the Poetry Pixie, because Heather, I wanted another poem for Chinwag, and she's written the most brilliant poems if you've watched my back. Anyway, I won't say all of that. And this one's called The Poetry Pixie Makes a Visit, because apparently she doesn't write the poems. It's the Poetry Pixie that writes the poems. I know. He thinks he's in another world.
I know. No, you're in the other world.
Oh, yeah,
I'm in a normal world.
Tilly and Holly and George, yeah, he's in the normal world. Well, I think it's a normal world having pixies visit.
Of course it is, dear.
Of course. I hadn't seen the Poetry Pixie for at least a month or so. It baffled me for weeks on end. Where did the pixie go? I tried her on her landline. I made a FaceTime call. I texted her each hour, but got no response at all. She phoned me back eventually and told me with a wail, I've been in France on holiday, but I ate a dodgy snail. I really was unwell, she said, in Paris on the Seine. I can safely say I won't be trying French cuisine again.
Yes.
I told her Pen had been in touch. I heard her give a gasp. She's not renamed her blog again. I'm almost scared to ask. Oh no, I said, she loves the name. She's really pleased with it. But she wants a poem for Chinwag, and she's champing at the bit. Does she think that I'm real now? She asked me with a laugh. No, I said I've told her, but she thinks I'm going daft. Now, pixies never charge for poems, and money they won't take, but they have gargantuan appetites for biscuits, sweets and cake. You'd get on really well with her, wouldn't you? He's got a gargantuan appetite for that. So round she came. I was relieved. I knew all would be well. I threw the front door open when I heard her ring the bell. Pixie, you look great, I said. You're such a welcome sight. In your lime green coat and orange skirts and blue and yellow tights. You've changed your hair, it's pink, I see, with lovely purple roots, and your outfit looks just perfect with your red Doc Marten boots.
I knew that was coming.
She said, do you like my jumper? I finished it last week. I acquired the wool in handfuls from a rather startled sheep. I washed it, then I spun it, then I wound it in a ball, and I had enough left over for a rather fetching shawl. She spied the kitchen table and she squealed and gave a clap. Oh, you really are too kind, she said. You've made a little snack. Could I have a large hot chocolate, please, and pass the biscuit tin? When I finished off these custard creams, I think we can begin. So she sat upon my shoulder, and I jotted down each word, while she munched upon a sponge cake filled with cream and lemon curd. She ate and spoke non-stop as we wrote down her ideas, and after every verse we brushed the crumbs out of my ears. She finished up a Battenberg, a box of mini rolls, a dozen toasted tea cakes, and a bag of donut holes. She polished off the cupcakes, apple tarts and buttered scone, and nibbled on the Jaffa cakes till all of them were gone. We smiled and chuckled as we wrote. We really had good fun. The crumpets over there, she asked. Could I have another one? I'd love another tea, she said. 6 lumps of sugar, please. Can I have those chocolate hobnobs? And the bourbons and rich teas. Well, Pixie, she'd been working hard. and deserved a little break, but I let her see inside the fridge, which proved a big mistake. She ate 6 strawberry yoghurts and 4 custard slices too, and a family-sized rice pudding, while I made another brew. She said, "This trifle's yummy. Could I have another bowl? And while you're in the freezer, could you pass that Arctic roll? There's roly-poly pudding on that shelf. Is that for me? Could I take it when I leave, in case I'm peckish after tea?" Croissants, shortbreads, muffins, they all vanished one by one. The sugar rush had done the trick, and the poem, it was done. "Can I take this box of Kit Kats, please? Have you only got 1 pack? I fear I'll faint from hunger as I'm making my way back. I've got just one more job today at a house down by the sea. Then I'll stop off at the baker's to get something for my tea. Please tell your friends about me if they ever need a poem. Now, I'd better get a wiggle on and get myself back home. Oh, Pixie, I will miss you. That was such a super day." And I thanked her for the poem and waved her on her way. So if you ever need a poem, she says she'll fit you in. All you need's her mobile number and a bulging biscuit tin. For Darling Penny from the Poetry Pixie and Heather.
That's great. Another good one.
Another great one. But I tell you what, I'm looking forward to the poem that Pixie wrote, because that's about the poem that Pixie wrote. But I haven't heard the poem that Pixie wrote.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah. That's about Poetry Pixie.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to the poem that you wrote together. Thank you, Heather.
Of course we are, dear.
Yeah, we are. We are. We had a bit of a giggle then, didn't we? He's coming round. He puts on this manly front, but he's one of us, really. So, I wanted to show you something from the hamper, and I came across it when I found the Beatles programme last week. My dad, well, I was saying to Mum, really, seeing how their life was in 1958, and then from 1958 to 1962, because that's when this programme is. My goodness, how things have changed. I think my dad was really working hard. He was really, making connections and doing well with his business. I think he started up his business whilst he was working, and then when it was, all of that. And then he came across the house, which Mum's going to tell you about. And we moved. But I came across this, it's a golfing. It's the Stage Golfing Society. So I've got another one here as well. The President's Harry Seacombe. And that is the 39th annual dinner, 1964, at the Savoy Hotel. And this is the 37th. And so this is the 18th of November, 1962. And Dad got lots of people's autographs on his menu, and all of them, say Penny with love. I remember coming down for breakfast in the morning of the next day and thinking, why did Dad get the people for me? But he was obviously thinking that I would love it. So yes, there's Ray Barrett and Robertson Hare, Ian Wallace, Paddy Roberts. Robertson Hare was president in 1958. John Mills, 1961. Kenneth Moore in 1962. Oh dear, there's a whole long list here. Dad got me these autographs, but this one is quite... I said to him, what does this mean, Dad? I'll show you it there. Can you see what it says? To Penny, with regrets, Bob Hope. with regrets, Bob Hope. I said to Dad, what does the with regrets mean? He said, I asked him to come round for tea. I thought you'd like to meet him. Asked him to come round for tea? He said, yeah, but he was sorry he was busy. So he put with regrets that he couldn't come. I thought, oh my goodness. I remember feeling nonplussed. So there we are. I wanted to share that with you. Yeah. It's a with regret that he couldn't come round for tea to our little house in Southgate, Bob Hope. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you soon. And I'm putting up a little film now of a blackbird. Oh, what was I going to do? Oh, I know, the great-grandchildren. I've got a great-granddaughter, Mila, and a great-grandson, you know him, Tommy. And Tommy was on holiday last week, so I didn't see him. He went to Centre Parks. But they sent me a couple of photos through, and my daughter said he did not cry once. He slept solidly all night long, didn't cry once, and was just observing everything. He went round the rapids and the pools in this little thing and just watched everybody and thoroughly enjoyed himself. And then Mila, my little great-granddaughter, she'll be 3 in November. So what is she, 2.5? She comes down this slide and her hair is all electrified so it stands up. So I just wanted to include that in this week's Chin Wag. So I'm going to say, I've said cheerio. So the little film is about the blackbird who comes to visit all the time when I'm down there with the chickens, and he just hangs around. He comes scooting round by the hedge, sees me there, and then comes waddling over, sings to me while he's sitting on the ground. And then this little film, I've had to cut it much shorter because he stayed for about 10 minutes without moving. So I hope you enjoy the episode, and I'll see you with George soon. Bye.